Hi everybody, I'm Tuesday Moriarty and I'm here today to do a tutorial on how to make these little cardboard books. I originally learned how to do them by watching a video by Kylie Coo. I'll put her link below, and her version was very primitive compared to mine, which I adored, but when I actually started doing it, I just don't know how to do primitive like she does, even though I love it. So I did my version of it. These are made out of flaps from cardboard boxes. And I put papers and stamping and painting and stencils. So I'm going to show you how to do this. I have a bunch of different kinds here. You can put them together either with rings or with strings, or sari silk, or whatever works for you. You know, here's another one. I have charms on the end here. I have a paper clip that I made here, which doesn't want to come out right now. I have puzzle pieces. I have tabs. I have all kinds of fibers and laces here. This is called washi tape. So there's a lot you can do here. This one I just did, it was my first one. I just did it to embellish it, to make a pretty book. And the same thing with this, I just want to try a little different style. And then I have this here, which I haven't done anything with yet. I think I'm just gonna put some paper on here just to write on it. Just write little pieces of poetry or something like that. So let's get started here. What you will need is, you're going to need cardboard, you're going to need Mod Podge and a brush, decorative papers, acrylic paint, stencils, stamps, washi tape, a hole puncher awl, rings to bind it, or some sort of string or sari silk. And then there's assortments of all kinds of embellishments that you can do. Let's get started. Inside a box, there's always the edge of where they're glued together. And an easy way of dealing with the box is just pulling them apart. This was not a deep box, so it was really easy, but it runs along that whole side normally. So once you pull that apart, everything else is easier to deal with. I'm just going to cut off one of the sides of the box. And then I would just cut the flap off. And then you can make the flaps as big as small as you want them. You can use any cardboard, any substrate you want. This is just how I learned to do it. Then that's where you would start off with. This had some of its, I think it's a Amazon box or something, and it had some packing paper on it. You could leave that there if you wanted to, for your kind of style of doing it, to just add texture to it. For the way I like to do my books, I would prefer for, a bunch of it to be off there, even if I can't get the whole thing off. So I'm just going to pull off what I can. That's good enough. Okay. Then what you do is get decorative papers, newspapers, any kind of papers that you would like to put on there. Rip and tear and put on there. And you can either do it with glue stick, or you can do it with Mod Podge, or any kind of glue that will work. Then you just start tearing pieces and putting them on there. Just throw some glue on here. I like to put the more squared pieces in the corner. You do not need to cover the whole area with these papers. You can leave pieces of the cardboard showing through. That is fine, because we're going to be using paint anyway. So it won't hurt anything at all, and it might just add to the look that you want, especially if you want a more primitive look, a more earthy looking look. On my books, I tend to get a little crazy with the papers and the paints and embellishments and everything else. It's just the way I tend to work. So I'm just throwing this on here. And Kylie Coo's version, it is adorable. I love her version. I just don't know how to do it. Just don't know how to work that way, which is fine. Papers don't have to be going in the right direction as far as copying that. This one here is upside down, and that's perfectly fine too. It's just going to give us some background. Oh, don't want that there. Put this up here. I don't want it that big either. Here, we'll use this one. So I've done other pages on this already. Like you can see here, there's multiple pages. I've already done a bunch on the other pages already, so I can show you how I put them together. How I punch the holes and get them all together. So this is just keep going with this and get it all filled in. And sometimes if you get a lot of glue, it can get a little bumpy. You can work those bumps out, air bumps out if you want. You might want them for texture. Just depends on what you're looking for. And I usually try to find, for me, I try to find something with flowers on it or that can peek through the paint that will look really pretty. I use less stamps and more images peeking through the paint. Didn't want that straight edge there. Okay, now here is where I get some flowers coming through with some major color going on. And sometimes I even wrap around the edges of the page so that it goes onto the other side. I do that sometimes too. That'll work. I'm trying to get this where I want it. How about there? There we go. That made me happier. And I have some little flowers here I'm going to stick on. And these papers here are kind of thick, where the other ones were thinner. So what I'm going to do is peel them apart. That's how I got these. They're the backs from these. And then I add some of this in here. Give some more flowers poking through the paint. Another little one here. Ah, I ripped it. Here, we'll still use what I got. This will still work. That's good. Now I have some pink ones. Here we go. That's my last piece I'm going to put on. Okay. When I'm doing the painting, I am not putting it in a palette like I would normally do. I'm just sticking it on my brush and painting. And just dabbing it around in places. I don't cover the whole thing. I put a bunch on that time. Rubbing that so some of the flour shows through. Okay, and we'll add this too. And I didn't clean my brush, I just added onto it. I'm totally good with that, with the, you know, it just gives it kind of a third color in there and a blending in a little bit, which that works for me. Okay. So that is done. And the stencils I used were these two stencils. One's a Tim Holtz and the other one is my mermaid one. And I was kind of putting a mermaid flavor onto this. So the pearlescent is this right here. It's a Jane Davenport. And I don't use pearlescent a lot, but I wanted to with this one. A little carried away there. It's a little more blended in than I would have liked because I didn't wait for it to dry. It'll still be good. So I'm gonna put that aside because that's where this is here, okay? That's where we are here. So let's do some stenciling. This isn't dry yet, and that's okay. I'm going to go back on this because I didn't wait for the blue to dry. So see how much, I don't know if you can see that. Let me stand up and look through the camera. Yeah, you can. See how pearlescent that is? I mean, it's still wet, but it's more blended in than these ones are. So these pages don't match as much. So, I mean, I'm going to wait. I'm going to do this over again. But I showed you the process. So you saw the process. And if you waited in between everything and let everything dry, which I did not do, then this is what you would have ended up with. More of the colors distinct instead of too blended in like here. This stamp is the Studio G. I'm just dabbing it through here. This is just makeup sponge. Because these are flowers, but it looks kind of like under the sea, kind of seaweedy kind of thing when you get it in here with all the other colors. That's what I was going for anyway. All right, a little more here. All right, so we got that stencil done. Now, let's try this. And I did a combination of both of these. That's why you can see the purple and the blue in here. So I'm going to do it again. And a little bit more up top here. Came out kind of purpley with some little red spots and pink spots. I do not have a mermaid stamp, so I just put the fishtail on here on the ends of the pages. Let me find them for you. Right here. Right there. Just have them going off the page a little bit. It makes mermaid mystery. I got my Stays On stamp, jet black. Just some cursive type here. Just to add a little more texture to this. Okay, that's good. Normally how I work is I line up, I line them up across the table and work on as I'm going, then flip them over and work on the other side. And this was on a block and I took it off. Some come off a block really easily and some do not. And this one did not. Yeah, that's good enough. With the washi, most washies are not very sticky. So I use Uhu glue stick. You can use any glue stick. It doesn't need to be Uhu. It's just the one I have right now. Run it between my finger and the glue. Okay. And I wanted this particular one because it had silver in it, or the gold rather. It had the gold and I wanted that sparkly in here. Let me see, let me put a little pink in and see if I like that, because I didn't put it on the others, but I think I will like it. So I think it will add a little bit of variety in the right way. I think it works. Okay. So, you know what? I don't like this one, not like this. I don't think that looks good. It's too big, too chunky. I need to break it down. That's better. That's better. And this is how I put the holes in. I have a hole punch. If you don't have one, you can use an awl. But I marked through with an awl first so that I'm putting the holes all in the same place. So I have them lined up. I should probably put something behind here. Here, my book. That's what I need. Okay, I got them lined up. I'm only going to do 2 rings. So I'm just doing a little guesstimate here of where I want them. And since I'm not standing over this, I don't know if I'm doing the same distance from the ends at all. So we're guesstimating. Be close enough. See if I'm too weaky. I found it helps with something because my hands have gotten weak as I've gotten older. So I can push on the other side with the other fingers and that helps. Keeps popping open on the bottom here. There we go. Finally, that's the last one. You can use all different kinds, all different sizes of rings. These, I don't know where I got. Probably, I think I've had them forever. They could have been at a hardware store or something. I'm sure you can find them on Amazon. So I will get the other page up to snuff with this, and then I can have my book and decide what I want to do with it, with my mermaid book. So that's the lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. I will be back soon with some more videos, and have a good day. If you have any questions, put them down below and I'll get some answers for you. Thank you very much. Take care, be safe, have a good day. Bye.